These divers were killed by their employer. In 2022, 5 divers entered a pipeline off Trinidad and Tobago for what should have been a routine repair. Instead, it became one of the most horrifying underwater disasters ever. The team was working inside a massive oil pipeline, about 60 feet underwater. They were using a sealed air chamber to stay dry while fixing a leak. Now, everything was going according to plan until they removed a plug inside the pipe. What they didn't know, the pipeline had already been drained. The moment they pulled the plug, the pipe turned into a vacuum, violently sucking in seawater, and all 5 divers with it. They were dragged over 700 feet through a narrow 30-inch wide pipe, slammed around in total darkness, covered in oil with broken bones and rapidly running out of oxygen. Now, you may think that killed them, but miraculously, they survived the initial pull. But that was just the start of the horrors to come. 4 of them managed to link together into a human chain and attempt to escape. At the front was Christopher Boudreaux, the least injured. They found 2 oxygen tanks that had been sucked in with them and began sharing air. Eventually, they reached an air pocket. Boudreaux pushed ahead alone, hoping to find a way out. When he reached a bend in the pipe, he realized he couldn't escape, but he could scream for help. It was his only option, and it worked. Rescuers pulled Boudreaux out alive, and he immediately told them the others are still alive. Divers on the surface were ready to go back in and save them, but the company in charge refused to authorize a rescue, calling it too dangerous. Even volunteer divers who tried to go in were blocked by armed guards, so the men were left inside, alive, but clinging to life, hoping they wouldn't be left behind. For hours, they banged on the pipe, trying to signal they were still there. But instead of sending help, the company sent cameras. By the time officials acted, it was too late. And now nearly 2 days later, the mission was officially changed from rescue to recovery. All 4 remaining divers died inside that pipe. An autopsy later revealed one of them may have survived for up to 39 hours, trapped, injured, and waiting for help that just never came. Now, this wasn't just an accident. It was a failure at every level. Miscommunication, poor planning, and a decision not to act when lives were still in the balance. 4 men didn't die because they couldn't be saved. They died because no one was allowed to help them. This was just one of the many dangerous workplace accidents we covered in our full-length YouTube video. Another took place in a mine, where hundreds of workers were crushed to death. If your morbid curiosity has been piqued, check out the video, but let me warn you, viewer discretion is advised because